The complaint is nothing gets done at our state capitol, but that's not entirely true. Today, a major piece of fraud legislation to bolster the state's Medicaid Fraud Control Unit passed the Senate, and it moved forward in the House after Republicans and Democrats worked out a compromise. Friends, I checked the forecast. Hell did not freeze over. Here's Danny.
When providers defraud Medicaid, the Minnesota Attorney General's office dispatches the Medicaid Fraud Control Unit to investigate.
They're stealing from all of us.
But with Medicaid fraud cases skyrocketing, Attorney General Keith Ellison has urged support for a bill that would increase staffing at the Medicaid Fraud Control Unit from 32 to 50, increase criminal penalties for fraud, and expand subpoena authority at the AG's office.
If Minnesota wants to stop Medicaid fraud, I got to get this bill through.
In the tied House, though, the path hasn't been easy. Last month, the bill stalled in committee after Republicans proposed making funding for the Medicaid Fraud Control Unit contingent on the amount of funds recovered.
We have no faith in the Attorney General's office to do the job.
While DFL members argued the funding should be ongoing.
So it is beyond me why we would not give them more investigators and more prosecutors to do the job.
That led to weeks of negotiations between DFL Representative Matt Norris and his Republican counterparts that finally resulted in a bipartisan compromise on Tuesday.
This bill does what Minnesotans expect us to do.
The parties agreed to a deal that will bolster funding for the Medicaid Fraud Control Unit using a special revenue fund from Medicaid providers rather than the state's general fund. By spending $1.2 million, the state will receive a 3-to-1 federal match.
So I like to say, you buy one fraud fighter here at the state level, you get 3 free from the federal government. So we were able to find an agreement that provides that ongoing fund.
It's one of 2 anti-fraud bills to advance out of the House Ways and Means Committee on Tuesday, along with a bipartisan human services package that strengthens oversight of Medicaid programs.
To try and address many of the issues that many of us have been talking about for a few years, and many more will be talking even more about in the next year.
It's a sign of progress during another tough year in the divided legislature.
The 2 prominent anti-fraud bills, the Office of the Inspector General bill and this one to fight Medicaid fraud, are both looking like they're going to get across the finish line.
The Medicaid Fraud Control Unit bill also passed the full Senate on Tuesday as part of a larger finance bill. So with it moving forward in both chambers now, eventually they'll have to come together to negotiate and come up with one final version to send to Governor Walz's desk for a signature. At the Capitol, I'm Danny Spiewak, KARE 11 News.
And they don't have a ton of time to get that cooked. We're 2 weeks away from the end of the session.